Let's get it out of the way. Boogie2988 is first and foremost a fat man. Boogie used to be very well liked and successful YouTuber. At one point he was known as the Mr. Rogers of YouTube. Now if you're British like me and you don't know what that means, the British equivalent would be he's the Jimmy Savile of YouTube. Boogie is an emotional parasite. He feeds on the pity of others. In pursuit of this goal, he is known to completely fabricate tragic backstories in order to make himself look as sad and pathetic as possible. True story! I had a depressed friend crashing at my place back in the mid-90s for a few months after a terrible breakup she went through. One night, she woke me up so I could take her to the ER. Her wrists were slashed very deeply. My bathtub was filled with blood. She had failed to cut deep enough though and didn't bleed out enough to die and decided to get help instead. She didn't lose enough blood to die, only a bathtub full of blood. Only 70 gallons of blood. That's very survivable. That happens to me all the time, you know. I get a paper cut and lose about 4 to 5 liters of blood. She was broke and stole money from my wallet to buy box cutters to do the job. She didn't want to steal very much money though, so she got the cheapest possible box cutter, and it wasn't strong or sharp enough to get the job done. Her desire to not steal my money saved her life, all because she took a 10 instead of a 20 out of my wallet. A box cutter worth $10 can't cut skin. Some would say that was a crippling design flaw. A lot of people didn't believe this story because it's, you know, obviously not true. So he starts going into people's Twitter DMs and calling them stalkers and bullies for not believing the story of when a woman lost 70 gallons of blood and survived. One of the things that Boogie never shuts the fuck up about is how he was suicidal in 2019.
But yeah, for those of you who don't know, I had the intention of killing myself on my birthday of July 24th, 2019.
Keemstar organized a call with a bunch of big YouTubers to try and give Boogie an intervention, but eventually most of the people he told came to realize he was just fucking with them and wasn't actually going to do it.
I put together a group chat of 50 YouTubers. I'm talking the biggest YouTubers.
We filled it to the max.
Think of the biggest YouTubers on the platform. They were in there. Clown was in there. Chad was in there. And our whole goal was to stop Boogie from killing himself.
Okay,
all right?
we can't leave that in.
Why?
All right, that's fine.
It's public. Boogie made it public.
All right, yeah, true.
Okay, it's totally fine. He told everyone over the summer, this last summer, 2019, he was going to kill himself. So we decided that we would save him. Every single one of us took time out of our days, talked to him on the phone for hours.
My time, the time out of my day was, don't listen to these retards in the group chat. Go see a therapist, you fat prick.
Regardless, we spent hours and hours talking to him. And he would not take any of our advice. And it became very clear that this dude wanted attention. He liked people calling him and talking to him on the phone, trying to help him more than actually fixing the problem. And that's what he was seeking. He was seeking someone to talk to.
Boogie be like, I'm going to kill myself. Hunger strike. Okay, see you in fucking 6 years, mate.
And after this, he snaked Keem when the H3 content nuke came around. And that's what you get for trying to be nice to Boogie.
You're a sick, twisted, manipulated motherfucker that was willing to go and stop criticism on you by threatening to kill yourself. What kind of selfish, manipulating fuck are you? Oh, iDubbbz, if you make a content cop on me, I'm going to kill myself. Like, you literally said that to him. You said that to all of his friends. You said it to every YouTuber you fucking knew so you would spread the word out to try to stop criticism. Big Daddy, team, I'll be a big boy.
Boogie has absolutely zero qualms with baiting suicide in order to mitigate criticism. He went into the DMs of a fake iDubbbz account, trying to preemptively prevent a content cop. After realizing this was a fake account, he approached iDubbbz at VidCon and told him that he was going to kill himself if iDubbbz made a video on him, to which iDubbbz apparently replied, "Fuck off. You have the easiest job in the world." After Turkey Tom made a video on him, he went into his DMs and told Tom that his video made him want to kill himself. After he told the Quartering he was going to kill himself, a welfare check was called in on Boogie, which Boogie then claimed was a selfish and vile action taken against him.
My first time talking about it publicly, but because I don't trust this person, because I've told them everything in DMs, and they decided to call in a welfare check on me that involved the cops showing up at my house, paramedics showing up at my house, the fire department coming into the house, in the middle of a date, by the way. All of this is happening in the middle of a date tonight, by the way. Here's what I told him. I told him that all of this shit is making me suicidal, and I didn't want to fucking kill myself. That I might kill myself in a month. I might kill myself when I take care of my other shit. But I don't want to fucking kill myself tonight. I want to do it on my terms. I want to do it on my time. But the shit that I'm dealing with is making me fucking suicidal. And so please just leave me alone. Please, I tried to convince you. I tried to show you. Please just leave me alone.
This suicide story is what Boogie uses to justify every terrible life decision he made back in 2019.
Paid off the damn house and then in that home.
But dead people don't live in houses, Rich, and I didn't have enough to pay off the house.
But you're still, which I'm glad, but you're still here.
Yeah, well, I mean, mistakes happen.
Dead people don't live in houses, Boogie, you're right. But equally, dead people don't go to fucking VidCon and tell every cunt in sight that they're going to kill themselves. But that didn't fucking stop you, did it?
Dead people don't live in houses. Dead people don't live in houses. Like I said, dead people don't live in houses, Tommy.
I'll give you a
You know.
break. Well, you really... Like,
I'm serious, though. Dead people don't... Dead people don't live in houses, man. Like...
You keep talking about killing yourself, Boogie. You keep not killing yourself. Can you try a little bit harder, please? The beginning of the end for Boogie came in the form of the Sam and Toki Reddit thread, where all of his lies, manipulation, and greed was archived and documented for all to see. Boogie made it very clear what he felt about these people.
But I want you to know, I think you are the lowest of the low. I think you are the worst of the worst. I think that there are fucking rapists and Nazis out there who, even though they are rapists and fucking Nazis, they are more redeemable than you because at least they're doing something they fucking believe in.
And to be fair to him, there is a case to be made that Redditors are worse than rapists. He also claimed that he would rather be raped and abused than criticized on Reddit. Boogie then uses his default strategy of trying to get people to feel sorry for him, so he DMs people involved with this thread and tells them that Reddit has been harassing him relentlessly and he's been swatted multiple times in the month of December. People then checked the Fettyville Public Police records, which was something that Boogie hadn't thought of, so he comes up with a genius lie. The FBI had told him to get involved.
I have a friend who works for the FBI, and I asked him how to deal with the online harassment that I get from a certain subreddit, from Kiwi farms, from places like that. And he told me the only way to fight that stuff back is to expose those people for what they really are.
And he claimed that he and the police department had made a secret, illegal agreement that all reports involving Boogie would be kept hidden. So Sam and Toki asked the police department if this was true, which is also something Boogie hadn't thought of. So Boogie activates his ultimate trap card. This was all part of his plan the whole time. He wanted people to discover he was lying about the swatting. He wanted people to discover that he was lying about his agreement to the police. He wanted to trick his harassers into admitting publicly that he had received welfare checks, that he thinks is the same thing as swatting even though it's the exact opposite of what swatting is. And these welfare checks were made with malicious, evil intent by these harassers, and not by the hundreds of people that he told he was going to kill himself. This also failed, so Boogie was forced to crack out the old faithful, Guys, someone hacked my PC and put that there.
In order to bait them like this, I had to lie. I mean, they've been calling me a liar and a manipulator this whole time, and I decided that I would just embrace it.
You really proved them all wrong, Boogie. Good job. Another thing that Boogie keeps saying is how Sam and Toki claim that he beat his ex-wife. I don't think I've actually seen anyone say that other than him. Most people seem to think he'd been physically incapable of attacking anyone, and after the Wings of Redemption fight, they were correct. The claims are that he emotionally abused his wife, which he for some reason likens to physical abuse.
Back to the top of the page where it says, contrary to what he claims, Boogie is not being accused of being a wife beater. Scroll down the page and here's this section where supposedly I made my wife sign an NDA. And they give it again false context, saying that NDAs are signed when there are things to hide, which explains why Dez has been awfully quiet on the relationship or any psychological, not physical abusive behavior towards her. And yes, I get that you're saying not a wife beater, but you're still accusing me of being emotionally abusive or any other type of abuse. You're being hypocritical. You can't trust those types of hypocrites.
We're talking about a man who stated that his wife had to walk on eggshells around him.
We're in a loop in which my anxiety was so bad that she was kind of walking on eggshells all the time. The way she reacted to my anxiety was very frequently with fight or flight. So I would become anxious over something. And when I become anxious, I'd become a little angry. I'd become a little edgy.
And also once accidentally revealed that he was screaming to her face that he wished she was dead.
Was me and my wife's relationship perfect? No. Did we argue from time to time? Yes. I think most couples do. Did I ever stand and scream in her face about fucking, tell her I wish she was fucking dead? Or, I don't know.
I don't know if the abuse claims are that ridiculous. He allegedly made her sign an NDA as part of their divorce, which in my mind is very strange.
I'm gonna be. There's only so much I'm allowed to say because in my mediation there's like a non-disparage clause which I asked for that she didn't ask for. I asked for it, but that said, I want to be very respectful regardless of anything like that.
After the release of the Sam and Toki Reddit thread, another man entered the scene, a man by the name of Frank Hassel. Frank had made it his mission to relentlessly troll this ugly, obese man. He started tweeting Boogie, telling him he was going to come to his house and sissy hypno rape him. This culminated in a confrontation on the kill stream where Boogie is pulling out all of his tricks, I'm fat, I'm depressed, I cry 7 times a day, I'm gay, I molest children.
You were skinny, you would rape kids, Boogie.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Boogie. Why would I have to wait to be skinny?
All the classics. But Frank is just cutting straight through to the heart of him. These tactics don't work on Frank.
Like one day my dad, the alcoholic, he's like, hey dude, like listen, like your mom's gone, like do you know what porn is? And I'm like, nah. And he's like, here's a magazine, like this is what women are. It's like sex is healthy and normal. And like, let me show you, because you're gonna want to learn to masturbate. Let me show you how to masturbate. Here, you can jerk me off if you like. Yeah, that's what my dad.
That moment, Steven's personality was completely shaped.
Yeah,
seriously,
like,
Boogie's like begging everyone. Let me tell you about when I got molested. Let me tell you about when I got molested. It'll be sick.
I am saying, Frank, you promised me the worst day of my life, and I'm just helping you.
You're like fucking begging to talk about getting molested.
I'm just helping you plan.
Did you learn these manipulative techniques from your rapes?
Once Boogie sees that the pity game isn't going to work, he switches his tactics from trying to elicit pity to try and put himself on a pedestal.
That's the thing, like, I care about the people who hate me. I can't stop.
Why though?
That's such narcissistic fucking bullshit, bro. You're just actually my problem is that I care about my haters too much. I just have so much empathy. I just can't. I just can't let it go.
I mean, if I was lying about that, that's narcissism, but that's the reality.
Boogie, everybody's lying about that. What? Look, somebody's haters.
Coping,
I hope they die. I don't give a fuck about them. Like, what? Why would you care about them?
Yeah, man, I can't fucking do that.
Come on, Boogie, just tell me.
I really fucking can't, man. I'm sorry. Like, and I get it. If you guys are so different from me, you can't understand that. That's okay. But that is.
Yeah, you just can't relate to you because you're so special, bitch.
Because I don't like a single one of them.
That pathetic little bitch.
I ain't talking about liking nobody. Frank, I like them about as much as I like you, and I would watch you catch fire, man. I wouldn't give a fuck. But what I'm saying is, I love you. I care about you. I want you to have a good life.
I don't give a fuck about you.
He thinks these people are worse than rapists and Nazis and wants to see the flesh melted from their bones. But he doesn't hate them, In fact, he loves them. Really makes you wonder what he did to his ex-wife. During all this, by the way, he was going into Frank's Twitter DMs and saying that he, trusted him and shit.
Dude, you were messaging me yesterday telling me that you trust me and that you think I'm a good guy. And
yeah, I was hoping, man.
I met you 2 days ago, and you're like, bro, I trust you. Do whatever, bro. I trust you. It's fine.
Yeah.
Calling him a good guy whilst simultaneously trying to take his channel down. Eventually, Frank follows through on his promise, tweeting out that he was in Boogie's town and atting Boogie in it. Boogie then tried one last tactic. Intimidation.
I dare you to fucking come here. You come here, I'll end you. It's his gun I'm going to kill you with. It's his gun I'm going to kill you with. No, you already have it in your fucking phone, you little pussy. Show the fuck up. Show the fuck up and let me put up. Show the fuck up. Come here, pussy. Come here, pussy. Come here, pussy. Come here, pussy. Pussy. Little fucking pussy. Show the fuck up. I will fucking end you. I don't care if I die as long as you do. No, I'm a nihilist, Frank, because I'm going to fucking kill you and take pleasure doing it.
Unfortunately, Boogie looks like this. So intimidation did not succeed. So Boogie lets loose a bullet towards a school district, but unlike the other shots he's taken at kids, this one was not blank. Gets arrested, has to pay $27,000 in lawyer fees, stay out of jail, and subsequently gets Frank's channel taken down, although he denies this, despite it obviously being him. To this day, Boogie still brings us up to play the victim, even though all of this was caused solely by him. Even Wings of Redemption thinks he's a bitch.
Like, Boogie, you yourself made the Frank Castle thing worse.
I spent $29,000 to stay out of jail. Felon. It was pretty fucking bad.
On your own mistake.
One of the people who's been hypercritical of Boogie is Mutahar, or Some Ordinary Gamers, who is Indian. Mutahar is very open with how much he hates Boogie. He calls him a liar and a manipulator, which is accurate, right? Yeah, it's true. Boogie does what he always does when he receives criticism. He plays the victim, going into Mutahar's DM, telling him that he'll never talk about him again, before talking about him again a week or so later and DMing his wife.
Let me paint the scene here. I'm driving home from New York, okay? You got my wife with me, I got me. My wife's phone starts blowing up, and lo and behold, I see Boogie mentioned on here. This sends me into a bit of a rage because I find it so weird that the moment I don't respond to you, the next person you're hitting up is my wife about this situation. Even mentions if I'm triggered or not. Yeah, I'm not triggered at you, I'm just triggered at the fact that you start reaching out to my friends and family.
Mutahar makes a video shitting on him after this. Now Boogie has to become even more of a victim, so his new narrative is that he wants Mutahar to stop rightly clowning on him because he's scared that it may influence a serial killer to come to his house and murder him.
Mutas scares me. He scares me. He does. He's got a very large audience, and there are some crazy people out there, and I don't think Muta's... I'm not scared of Muta. Don't get me wrong. I should not say I'm scared of Muta. I'm just scared that there's a lot of people in his audience that might Frank Hassel my ass, and I don't want that shit to happen again.
So you like picturing like somebody with like a shrine to Mutahar in their closet. So as soon as he says, "Oh, I hate Boogie,"
what
like,
I picture.
Let me get the AK up.
No, what I picture is the same thing I pictured like when Sniper Wolf fucking docs Jack's film. So the same thing I picture.
You know what happened to Jack's film? Not a damn thing.
No, but listen. Right. Yet he's got to live the rest of his life in that house, or he's probably gonna move.
He's obviously saying this because the SS Sniper Wolf shit just happened, and he's trying to use that situation to make himself look like a victim. He's trying to use someone else's doxing story to make himself a victim, which is fairly typical. Boogie likes to virtue signal a lot. However, like most virtue signalers, he's not very consistent on any of his beliefs. This is a man who claims that misgendering someone should be met with jail time, but also used a rapid-fire faggot on 4chan.
I would never call a homosexual the F word. Never in a million years would I call a homosexual an F word. Never. But would I use the term old fag or new fag on 4chan? Of course I would. Why?
When Turkey Tom made a video on him, Boogie decided to bring up Discord logs of Tom saying the N-word when he was 14 and used that to call him a racist.
I don't know you that well, right? The other day you called me like a racist on Twitter. You claimed that I lied.
Oh yeah, you definitely said some racist shit, and you yeah.
But you have too.
That's why I went to London and risked my life. Because you said racist shit. It was racist to say
But you said racist stuff too. I think it's ridiculous for you to call me racist when I have people from other Boogie accounts combing through your old internet shit to find you saying even more racist stuff about
That's
black
out of
girls.
curiosity. Are you racist?
Am I racist?
Yeah. Like, do you dislike people of color?
No.
Boogie himself has said the N-word more than once as an adult, although he did lie and claim he only ever said it as a child, very quickly backpedaling on that once he was literally shown a clip of him saying it as an adult.
You know, I might make a racist joke every once in a while. You know, when I was a kid, I might have said something stupid once or twice in the back.
The N-word.
I do care about it.
Yeah, there's a YouTube video where you say the N-word.
I genuinely don't think I've ever said the N-word except when I was a kid.
I have a video where Boogie says the N-word right now.
Yeah, I would like to see that.
I will link it.
That nigga's tits are part of his belly.
I genuinely don't think I've ever said the N-word except when I was a kid.
Niggas, and I know that I could still be a niggas and be white, but...
This fucking lying bitch.
Honest to God, Frank, I don't think I've ever fucking said it in the last decade.
First off, I don't know if he said this.
Decade.
That's fucking racist.
I might have said it in my teens or my 20s because I was a stupid edgelord
You
piece
said
of
it's
shit.
a joke.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, the very first girl I ever dated was African American. Like, I've dated black girls.
No, I never heard his view on African Americans until this very show. That's interesting that you got that out of him. Plenty of black friends. Plenty of black friends.
I mean, here's the thing. Like, the very first girl I ever dated was African American.
No, I'm not a racist.
Bear in mind that whilst Boogie was calling Turkey Tom a racist, he was saying this to Mike Klum in a documentary.
The N-word is just a word. If you guys left and these cameras weren't rolling and I was sitting here alone in the dark and I said the N-word, there's no magic power to it.
So say it.
Nigga. After his divorce, Boogie decided that he was done with the Arkansas rates, like his ugly fucking dog of a wife, and he was now exclusively going after LA 10s.
The women I dated were pretty, sure, but they were like Arkansas 8s, not LA 10s. With sugaring, I got to fuck some LA 10s, and I think that's cool.
If only we knew why his wife left him, you know? It's quite the mystery.
Well, I'm gonna betray my wife's trust here. Do not betray her trust. It's very minor. My wife, God love her, she's not a very sexual person. She has been very sexual with me. I'm one of the only people she's ever trusted that way. Her other men that she's been with, it's just not a thing she's that into. Uh-oh, I got a text. I bet I'm in trouble. Sorry, period. I'm having a lot of trouble with this stuff. Well, now my wife heard what I was talking about. So she's furious. Yeah, I knew I shouldn't have said anything, but at the end of the day, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here, you know? Like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. I'm here all alone, and I'm fucking dying inside, and I'm in a lot of pain, and I don't have anybody to talk to, and you guys keep asking, and I'm trying real hard not to talk about it.
In pursuit of this conquest, he started banging a lot of whores.
We got back to the hotel, and I do regret to say that I slept with Boogie2988. Overall, the experience, and I don't mean to fat shame or anything, but there was rules upon rules upon rules, and it took me a lot of time to find a stick. Sleeping with Boogie is one of the reasons I quit sex work.
Yeah, don't fat shame him. We wouldn't want to fat shame him, but it was horrific. Easily the worst experience of my life. Worse than when my mother died. I'm gonna have nightmares about it. It's not enough for Boogie to just bang whores in peace. No, he's got to tell everyone and publicly brag about whatever girl he's paying to sleep with him. Which is not even bragging rights. It's just sad. He kept tweeting out hints about one of his previous girlfriends, and then kept getting annoyed when people tried to figure out who she was. Eventually, he tweeted out an image of her with her face cropped out, but people used the tattoo on her arm to figure out who she was, and guess what, fellas? She was a fucking prostitute. Thanks for playing the fucking game. Then she stopped talking to him, and he got mad about it, but hey, you know, maybe if you don't want people to find out your fucking girlfriend is, don't tweet hints about it, you fucking dumb cunt. You fat drunk. Fucking fat ugly piece of shit.
There was one girl that I dated. She liked a lot of childish things. She liked rubber ducks. That's why I have some of these rubber ducks. And one of my favorite memories with her is us sitting in this tub, her playing with rubber ducks as I washed her, and then when we got out, I took her to bed. One of the best nights of my life, Mike. Happened right here.
One of your girlfriends was so young and childish that you kept rubber ducks around the house? You know, I remember someone else doing a similar thing.
Now you might say, what are 4 plastic ducks doing on the bed? Here's whose house it is.
He really is the Jimmy Savile of YouTube. Then he hypes up the reveal of his newest 20-year-old girlfriend, eventually revealing the beauty when he tweeted her out. Here she is. Oh, bro ain't being the pedophile allegation. But then Boogie makes another tweet and another tweet and another tweet and another and another and another and another and another. And at a certain point, I don't want to defend him against the guys calling him a pedophile because he clearly wants people to call him a pedophile.
On paper, it just doesn't really add up, right? It doesn't make sense on paper, but then practice and in reality, there was just something there.
Was it like Rehypnol and chains?
Growing up without a father figure has its challenges.
Oh, I've solved it. You know, I think I figured out this mystery.
I would say that it's the best I ever had. What? You were...
You know, believe it or not, he's even better than my uncle. If I knew sex was this good, I would have been awake for it. This is the best consensual sex I've ever had.
Sexually, we both seem to be having an excellent time.
We both enjoy it. You know, I know she enjoys it because there's little to no resistance. Boogie's wife left him because he was using her as a live-in maid and caretaker, and she was kind enough to wait until after his weight loss surgery before leaving him. That doesn't elicit much sympathy from Boogie, however.
My ex-wife was a very angry person. My ex-wife was a little bit on the plus side. When I say a little bit, I mean fairly large.
He met his new girl, Desi, through Instagram, where apparently they trauma bonded, and within 2 months, they're living together.
Why is that? I mean, there's a lot of guys. There's billions, really. What makes Boogie so special?
What makes Boogie so special is that...
Oh, that's not what you want to hear. Oh, what makes that? Ooh, what makes him special? He doesn't smell as bad as you'd think he would. What else? He's got enough teeth. You know, not all of them. Boogie claims that Desi is the only good thing in his life, and that dying due to obesity would destroy her completely.
I mean, my biggest fear is dying on her. If I die in the next 2 or 3 years on her, that's just going to ruin her life.
My risk for stroke or heart attack is astronomical, and I'm so fucking sorry for that. I really really wish I had taken better care of my body.
If only there was some way I could lose this weight. If only there was a place I could go that was designed for people to lose weight. If only that was a thing. Unfortunately, it turns out that his soulmate and the love of his life cannot possibly measure up to a KFC bucket meal. Watching the documentary, it's pretty obvious what he wants out of women, and it's not love or companionship. He wants a permanent in-house maid / sex servant. I'd almost go as far as to say that he can't feel love or affection. Back in 2017, Boogie was a millionaire making around $500,000 in a year, and 6 years on he has gone from that to a financially destitute, soon-to-be homeless person. Like all formerly successful YouTubers who've fallen off, Boogie refuses to get a normal job and intentionally sabotages himself anytime it's brought up.
Tell me a little bit about your background and where you think you want to go with the experience that you already have.
I did work at a small gaming store back in 2006, 2007. I am disabled, recognized by the state of Arkansas, but also the United States government. There's that. Now, the downside of that is I am extremely depressed, so there's some mental health issues that we bring to the table. And then physically, I am morbidly obese. I have no references, no work history, and no education, and I beat my ex-wife, and I'm also a pedophile.
Oh shit, a fat, disabled, gay pedophile who beats his wife? With a CV like that, who can say no?
So I think there are some avenues you could explore. I definitely don't think it's impossible, but you have some challenges.
Yeah.
Exactly. Hollywood, the Catholic Church, you got shit tons of options. You're practically built for California.
I did work in the porn industry for the better part of 7 years, so I mean...
Be real with me. Do you really think it would be a good idea to go to a real interview and reference porn?
It depended on the job, I would think.
He's right. If he were applying for the role of fuck pig, he'd probably be on the shortlist. McDonald's, though? Not so much. I doubt they'd even take him as produce. I don't understand the mentality of these people. You know, I've seen your content. You're not putting in a 15-hour workday. Don't see why he can't just do both. By the way, now he's claiming this interview was a big joke.
I'll tell you what actually happened, and Mike will confirm this. We went into it with every intention of, would it actually be possible to get a job? That's the fingers crossed, right? And so we do, like, before the cameras are rolling, we sit down and we talk a little bit, and it's very clear from the get-go, this company has no interest in me. Yeah. So we basically decided to...
He told him you were in the porn industry.
Right, I decided to do the Andy Kaufman thing, which is just try to be fucking hilarious.
That was hilarious.
Because we already found out that this shit's shut down. Like, this is a non-starter. We are here, and we are wasting our time.
Oh, they told you that off camera before the interview? Yeah, sure, that makes sense. In order to truly understand Boogie's financial situation, we must analyze his spending patterns. We got arcade machines, Funko Pops, $100,000 Tesla, Legends of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, he had to buy it. Magic the Gathering cards, $100 soundbar, Diablo 4, he had to buy it. $200,000 on prostitutes.
But if you take out all of it, you take it out, all I eat is sandwiches every day. All I do is sit here. I need $7,000 a month.
In fairness, Boogie, a sandwich for you is like a tub of lard and 2 whole fried chickens. However, there was a light at the end of the tunnel for old Boogie. As it turns out, in 2019, he pumped all of his money into crypto. By 2021, had essentially quadrupled his money, solving all of his financial woes for a year. Despite the fact he said he was going to move the crypto money into real-world, less shitty investments, only a year later he claimed he'd managed to lose $500,000 by investing in shitcoin. Boogie later made a video playing the victim and shifting the blame whilst simultaneously begging his audience for money. Change of scenery though, he does it outside so you can't see the fucking thousands of dollars worth of arcade machines, Funko Pops, and just random garbage. Although, as it turns out, he was lying the whole time. He never lost $500,000 in crypto. In fact, he didn't lose any money to crypto. In a recent live stream of Mutahar, he claims he put $200,000 into crypto. It went up to $750,000 and then back down to $200,000, where he then took that money back out of crypto.
So here's what I don't understand. You have $750,000 and you just decide to put all of it into crypto when that money could have went into the S&P
No, I did not have
500?
$750,000. I had $250,000.
That's what literally the documentary that you were on
I understand.
said. Did
That's
you
the
not
most
catch that
I
either?
had was $700,000. When I initially invested in crypto, I had $250,000.
So why did you let him write you lost $600,000 in crypto?
Because that's about how much I lost. My max amount was about $700,000. And so if I sold that day, I would have had 700,000.
The math doesn't make sense.
Well, the math should make
doesn't make
sense.
any sense.
Well, let me walk you through it, okay? Now, let's imagine you have $250,000, okay? Which
Sure,
is what I
yeah.
had. Now you invest it, okay? Now it goes up to $800,000, okay? Now if you sold it, then how much money would we have? $800,000, right? But I didn't. I sold it when it was considerably less than that. I went to bed and it lost 60% value overnight. I woke up the next morning and I sold what I had, but that didn't really matter because I went from about 700,000 back down to about 200,000.
So after you got, so hold on, you put in 250,000, you got up to 750. How much did it drop to?
About 200,000, 250,000 overnight.
And you didn't decide maybe I should cash out then? No, you let it go all the way down to 30 after that.
Well, I did cash out then.
So
but
you
what do you
cashed
think
out
I've
$200,000?
Yeah, what do you think I've lived off of since 2000 or 2020?
So when he made this video begging his audience for money, saying he was broke,
I put my money in the crypto market in the wrong section, and I pretty much lost most of everything.
he actually had over $200,000 in his bank account. This guy has been crying for the last 3 years, begging his fans for handouts, begging other YouTubers for handouts. He's had $200,000 the whole time.
Man, if I had that money back, that would be half of my mortgage right now.
You've had that money for the last 3 years, Boogie. Why have you never paid off the mortgage? I'm supposed to believe that you spent $200,000 on bills in 3 years? Pretty much all of Boogie's problems stem from being fat and ugly. He never does anything to lose the weight or help himself, and he justifies this by pretending to have a horrifically difficult life.
So, when you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing you do?
Probably piss.
And then?
Shower.
Well, I piss and shower. And then I spend the first 2 or 3 hours of my day trying to not hate being alive. I have to spend that time meditating. I mean, for all lack of a better term, meditating and learning to get my brain into a functioning mode.
This is a fancy way of saying I spend all day laying on my sofa stinking of shit waiting for Touch TV to come on.
You know what I got up today at 10 a.m. Do you know what I've done today? I've done nothing but prepare for this interview so that I would not lose my emotions. I wouldn't cry in front of you. I wouldn't lose my temper in front of you. I have literally played a handful of video games. I talked to my girlfriend. I played with my dogs. I did all of these things so that I would be in the right headspace for this interview so I wouldn't make a complete and utter ass out of myself. And so I think there's two different ways to look at it. I can look at my life, as a lot of people think I do. Oh, poor pity me. I'm just going to sit on my ass and not try to do anything and not try to accomplish it. I can do what I do every day, which is try to control what I eat, try to control this brain, try to control this body.
I think I too would be suicidal if I had to spend all my day watching what I eat and controlling my body. Near the end of the documentary, Boogie tries one last tactic to lose the weight and save his life.
So there's something I've always wanted to try. There's a lot of research that came out of Europe, and now we're doing it here in the United States, where psychedelics can help reset certain brains. People who experience childhood abuse, people who've gone through trauma, people who deal with post-traumatic stress disorder. It's one of the only things I haven't tried yet.
You know, other than go to the gym, you mean? Or eat a salad?
My given name is Ryan Arthur DeLeoyo, and I've adopted the name Flaming Star.
Flaming Star? Oh, brilliant. You know, Boogie, why don't you try dieting before you try taking Flaming Star's narcotics?
That's what happens when you seek out hallucinogenics. It's going to allow everything else physically here to relax. The emotional stuff is going to come out, trauma's going to come out, but afterwards your atoms are going to go back into their original positions.
Flaming Star, that doesn't sound like it's founded in any kind of science. You know, I'm beginning to question whether you're actually a licensed physician.
We're all connected.
I believe
When
it.
you get to a certain point of understanding inside your intellect mind.
Intellect mind? What is that, your wife's name? I'm kidding. Okay, you're not married.
That connectivity, you realize your hands are basically like USB ports.
Well, this man is clearly insane.
So these are it's crazy to think.
What the fuck is he doing? Okay, I'm not being funny. I think this guy's a date rapist. Yeah, I'd say run, but this guy is going to rape you.
I think that something that just grows out of the ground has so much power, and I'm actually holding it in my hand right now. But here we go.
There you go. Get that down, your son. The first vegetable he's had in years.
Welcome to the club.
Flaming Star, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, my parents are just crazy. They're broken people.
Parents?
Flaming Star doesn't know what parents are. Oh, there's a fucking surprise. He made this documentary because he thought it would make him look like a victim, but that's failed. So now he's throwing Mike Klum under the bus, claiming like half of the documentary is fake. He let them leave it all in because he apparently doesn't give a shit about misinformation being spread until right now. Until specifically now.
You said that you had $1,500 in boxing, like to pay for boxing.
Oh no, Mike
lessons.
Klum said on my live stream he fudged those numbers. He didn't get those numbers from me. He'll openly tell you.
And so hold on. You watched this documentary before it came out in its entirety, and we're okay with that then?
I didn't pay attention to the numbers like most of the text. Like
boxing financials were all fake. His yearly earnings were fake. The interview was fake. Basically, everything that made him look bad was fake. When his girlfriend says, even if Boogie was cheating on me, I'd stay with him.
So if he cheated, I'm not gonna break up with him because I love him and it's gonna hurt. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. To see him with, to see Boogie with another woman, it would hurt and it would make me jealous, but I'd get it.
Even if Boogie was raping me, I'd stay with him. That was like, you know, shit, don't listen to her. She doesn't know what she's saying.
She even sat there and was like, if you cheat on her, she'll still let it go because you're a YouTuber.
yeah, we had a really good moment. We had a really
good
good moment on the live stream the other night, and she came in there. I'm like, baby, if I ever cheat on you, you got to promise me you'll cut my dick off. And she's like, of course. She's got social anxiety. She's like me. She says silly shit sometimes when the pressure's on.
It's always a good sign when you have to specifically tell your significant other, you know what, you don't have to stay with me if I rape you. If I rape you, if I abuse you, you know, you don't have to stay. Always a good sign. Now that you've seen just how much Boogie is willing to lie, I'm gonna hit you with the final point that no one else is willing to make. I'm the only one brave enough to question it. In a way, it's the perfect lie. Because what kind of dickhead, heartless cunt would question a man's torturous tale of horrific childhood abuse? This guy! Every time Boogie brings up his abuse, the context or story just seems to totally shift. In the first video talking about being abused, he's crying and blubbering about this woman who took advantage of him.
One of the women I dated had manipulated me and convinced me that I was going to be one of the fattest men in the world, that I was going to be bedridden, and that she was going to feed me to death for her own sexual gratification. Hard to admit that. She exploited my depression and my suicidal tendencies, and I was right along with her.
And the next time he tells the story, this was epic! It was awesome! Best experience of my life, better than my marriage.
It was like one of the best experiences of my life. I was like, this is awesome.
One of the stories he keeps telling is about how his mother smashed down a door with a hammer and beat him over the head with it. The story is usually generally correct, but when you get into the details, it's always wrong. First time he tells the story, he references a scar and points to it. Then the next time he tells the story, he references to the same scar, except this time he points to the opposite side of his head. You thought no one would fucking pick up on that, Boogie, did you? But I fucking did. I picked up on it, you fat fuck! One time she split his skull, next time she just scratched his scalp.
I still have the scar where she split my skull right at the hairline. Hammer around, and instead of hitting me with the hard end, which could easily have cracked my skull, she hit me with the claw end, which just kind of scratched the scalp pretty hard and caused me to bleed.
It's not just this story, there are issues with most of them. His sister was taken away from home because it was known she was being abused.
My sister got taken out of her home because of the abuse she received. She was, I think, 13 or 14. They left me there for some reason. I'll never understand that.
But then sometimes his sister wasn't taken away by Child Protective Services. Sometimes she was just put up for adoption by his mother.
Eventually, Mom just turned her over to foster care, to the child services, and just let her go. And that left me alone in the home, and
I mean, those two are drastically different fucking things. This is one of his stories. This is unironically one of his stories. Him and his mother in a car. They're driving in front of his school at like 30 miles an hour, right? His mother is like scratching his eyes with her fingers because she's like a witch. Boogie opens the door. He dives out onto the concrete. Right? He's like rolling along in front. There's every single one of the kids, all the faculty members are watching this kid jump out of a fucking 30-mile-per-hour moving vehicle, rolling along the concrete, getting all scratched up, right? They're watching it. Don't give a shit. Don't give a shit. You know what I think that is? I think that's fucking bullshit. Like, fuck that happened. That is retarded. It's very simple stuff. You're a bad guy for questioning it. You see, his parents raped him multiple times, but actually it only happened once. But he actually wasn't ever raped. He was only ever molested. But his mother hated sex and was never sexual with him at all. How is this hard for you to understand? I think it's interesting that he claims he wasn't abused at all. And his mother apparently also said she'd never abuse him until his brother and sister were no longer in the house, where suddenly this horrific abuse starts when there's no one around to actually confirm it.
I watched it happen. It didn't happen to me very often. I was very lucky in that regard. The 8-year-old me, 10-year-old me really never got hit very often. I got spanked. I got slapped in the face a little bit, but nothing I would really consider abuse, just, child rearing at the time in the late 70s. And the reason for that is because Mom had felt she had already screwed up my brother and screwed up my sister, and she had me as late in life as she could because I was the one that she was going to not screw up. So she tried her best not to hurt me. But eventually my brother went off to college. My sister continually ran away. She ran away at the age of 11, the age of 12. Eventually, Mom just turned her over to foster care, to the child services. And that left me alone in the home, and it just kind of went downhill from there.
But then at the same time, he claims that his brother and sister were actually witnesses to his abuse. But don't actually ask them, guys. Come on. Don't ask them. So in regards to this abuse, there's no witnesses. The only people who confirm or deny it are dead. And all the information in regards to it is coming from a pathological liar and self-admitted covert narcissist who also just so happened to be writing a book about it. The worst thing Boogie's probably ever done was when he accused his own sister, who is also a victim of abuse, of raping him. After being called out on this, he started walking it back, and then he blamed his brother for the allegations, claiming that his brother had gaslighted him into thinking his sister had raped him.
So, my mom and my dad did fucked up shit to me. And whether or not my sister did fucked up shit to me is apparently debatable, so it's not something I talk about anymore.
But why is the sister part questionable? That's the reason. That's what I was going to ask.
Because, so me and my brother were talking a bunch of, 5 or 6 years back. And he's like, we were talking about Mom and Dad and the shit they did to us. And, he's like, Carla did the shit to you, too. And I'm like, what? And, I started getting memories of what the fuck happened. So, I talked about it online. And then, I went and visited my sister the last fall. And she's like, baby brother, I would have never done anything like that to you. And I'm like, but Carla, I have distinct fucking memories of you doing this shit. And she's like, yes, but you remember how Mom and Dad and Brian and everybody fucking gaslights us, right?
What if she's double gaslighting you?
So you think you might have convinced yourself into having a false memory or something? Is that what you're...
I don't know.
This guy had a dream. He had sex with his sister, bro.
He's like, I was raped by my mother, my dad, my sister, my brother, the family dog was getting involved, the neighbor was getting involved, the neighbor's kids were getting involved. I was basically raped by the whole block. I'm basically the rape messiah. Yeah, good one, Boogie. I fucking believe that, you sick fucker. I know I've already lost the therapy fans in the audience who believe that any discrepancy or negative personality trait can be justified as long as you have the requisite trauma. Personally, however, I work off of Michael Myers' Halloween rules, and I think that Boogie was just born wrong. My theory would be that Boogie's siblings were abused and he wasn't, and due to being left out of the abuse and due to his sick and twisted brain, he became jealous of his siblings for being abused because he thinks that abuse makes you special, leading him to invent increasingly ridiculous abuse stories out of jealousy, and in some cases actually demeaning his siblings' own experiences by claiming that he has suffered 10 times the abuse they did.
She revisited everything she ever did to my brother and my sister tenfold.
In my opinion, believing that childhood trauma and abuse is some kind of bragging right. What the fuck do I know, eh? Personally speaking, I've always viewed Boogie as a fairly untalented creature, achieving his success on the platform not through being an entertaining or interesting figure, but rather by being so openly pathetic that people ended up supporting him purely out of a sense of pity or shame. You combine that with the look of being one of the earliest creators to use SEO, and you get a successful career, but that doesn't last. A man can only stay down on his luck for so long. If your help doesn't lead to any kind of positive change, pity turns to annoyance, which turns to apathy. There's no point in helping someone who refuses to be helped, and people will eventually close their ears to the wailing of your tortured soul. If I was going to end with one thing, it'd be, please don't give Boogie any money, and instead give it to the Bigbunjeeeeee Patreon, and check out my Rumble and Twitter.